live. Can y'all hear me? Can you all hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can. But welcome back to Live on Slow Mode. This is our 45th live stream, I believe, on YouTube and our official website. Make sure you like and subscribe. We got some amazing content to share to you all over the world. Valuable information that you won't find anywhere else on the internet as far as the year 2025, common era or after death. But basically we have a lot of exciting things to share that these other platforms will not share. Like we've been saying, for the longest. And now that I have you all like to see my screen, as opposed to like having to use a cell phone, pop-up tablets, I can show you all the information at hand, or at least some of it. But yes, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out our latest video we released about our 900 mystically transported subscribers. Celebration for 900 subscribers. We haven't hit the mark yet, but we're looking to hit it within, the next couple of weeks, possibly. The goal this year was to hit 1,000. The year isn't up yet. We still got we got 28 more days. Yeah, 28 more days. So hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of amazing, exciting content to cover today. We're going to talk about black people are brainwashed about African-Moorish history. And we're going to present evidence to back up everything that we're saying. All the information that's being put out through this channel, we're going to back it up. And if we can't back it up, feel free to drop your comment section. This is the slow-moed community of G's. All of you are the G's. We got 900 G's on the live stream, on the YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? And we just going to the top, and we couldn't have gotten to this point without you all's support. So I'm very excited, and check out our merch. Link is in the description of our official website and our online retail store. Right now I'm wearing my slow-moed long sleeve logo. Got inkjet print on the back. Check it out. Got our logo. As you see, I got it popped up on the screen. Our official website. You can go through here, check out our home page. We got our latest portal right here. Just let that play, let y'all see. If you haven't been to our website, creating slow-moed Moorish portals using African-Moorish mysticism. Using the art and music of various artists to help them out, as well as propel knowledge to the uninformed. This is our latest video. Thanks for 900 subscribers. Check it out. Very exciting video. Took a lot of effort to make and create. So your subscribe is very much appreciated. As you can see here, click this button to go to be redirected to the YouTube channel to subscribe. Check out our merchandise. If you go to our official shop, this isn't our official shop page, but if you click on this button, go to our official shop. This is like a preview of our shop. Got a lot going on here. Go to our official website. Purchase our merchandise. Our clothing is very comfortable. This is something you can work out in. Go to streetwear. Vibe with, party, whatever. You can do pretty much everything in our comfortable clothing. I'm currently wearing this right here, slow-moed logo, long sleeve, very comfortable. But yeah, just showing you all this. But like I promised y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into business by discussing how black people are brainwashed of African-Moorish history. So let us get into it. We're going to start with Dr. Edward Robinson. You all may have heard me mention his name a couple of times on our lives, but basically this is a video by Dr. Edward Robinson Jr. Edward W. Robinson Jr. He talks about his book No Man Can Hinder Me at 94 years old. So he wrote this book and published it at 94 years old. This man had a lot of wisdom, and he was very intelligent, very knowledgeable. And I read both of his books, Journey of the Songhai People, and I have this book, No Man Can Hinder Me. Both are very good reads. If you haven't read them, I suggest you read them. But without further ado, let's get into how black people are brainwashed of African-Moorish history. Let's get into it.
This is my 94th birthday. I'm very honored to be able to sit and talk with my brother Bob Lott and Wesley Brown on the book, which is entitled No Man Can Hinder Me. The title is taken from a spiritual that our fathers and mothers created on the plantations of the South, which started off as Ride On King Jesus, No Man Can Hinder Me. And I just took that excerpt because my life is an example of having no man that could hinder me. The book is really a series of stories creating an idea that white people don't like black people. And my story started when I was very young, and I just couldn't understand it. I remember Harry Heller in my first grade, and he and I were good friends, and one day he says, I can't play with you anymore, Ed. I said, why? He said, because my mother said I can't play with colored boys anymore. And I said, why? He said, because you're colored. So I went home and asked my mother, what has that got to do with anything? He said, when you get older, you'll understand. I found out that it's because of their being brainwashed against our African ancestry is the basic reason why white folks dislike black people. I call it intrinsic value. Let me give you an example. Bill Russell, a great basketball star, was considered one of the most outstanding basketball players of his time. And when he retired, they gave a great celebration for him on a Monday. Boston, his home city, rolled out the red carpet for him. And he was loved and adored by white people all over the city. That was Monday. On Thursday, these same people were going to bomb his house because he moved into a neighborhood that did not allow black people in it. Now, to most people, that is so ironic. How can you be loved on a Monday and on Thursday hated? And the reason is that he was of functional value as a basketball player. We call it extrinsic value. But when he moved into a neighborhood where they lived, they hated him because they disliked his ancestry. We call that intrinsic value. I came to the conclusion what the problem was and what the solution was. Let me give you a couple stories to illustrate this dislike. In my book, No Man Can Hinder Me, I used story after story showing this dislike of white people for black people. Now, one of them has to do with when I was in the Army. And I was a volunteer in the United States Army in the Second World War. As a consequence of that, I could choose the part of the armed forces I wanted to be in. And I wanted to belong to the Army in the Signal Corps of the Army. As a result of that, joining 98 more soldiers, including 2 more African Americans, we were ordered to take 100 German prisoners across the country to a prisoner of war camp in a place called Camp Gruber. As we got on the train, the 200 of us were there, the 100 German prisoners and the 100 American soldiers. We talked with each other, those who could understand English and spoke German. The trip was uneventful until we stopped in Claremont, Missouri, home of the late humorist Will Rogers, for a lunch break. I'm reading from the book. The trip was uneventful until we stopped in Claremont, Missouri, home of the late humorist Will Rogers. We lined up the prisoners, still shackled, in front of a restaurant that had been commandeered ahead of time by the Army. Several white soldiers went ahead of the prisoners. The remainder marched alongside to prevent escape of the prisoners, and we 4 black soldiers brought up the rear. When the restaurant owner saw the 4 of us black soldiers, he went into a frenzy. "No niggers, no niggers," he screamed. He couldn't even speak English well. And they're not allowed in here. The Germans shriveled around, jeered our presence, and began calling us Schwarzen. Schwarzen means niggers in German. And these German prisoners who pledged their allegiance to Adolf Hitler had found 4 targets at which to spew their master race venom. With equal contempt, the owner announced, if the niggers want to eat, they will have to go out into the freezing February rain in the back of the restaurant, where someone will make them some sandwiches to take out. Meanwhile, the German prisoners and the white soldiers sat in the warm, spacious dining room enjoying their meal. We black soldiers were so angry that a bitter taste still surges to my throat even today, 70 years later, from that humiliating experience. Now, we're going to change that. We're going to change that hatred of our African background. Now, the reason why we love whites is for two reasons. Number one, everything, ever since we were children, valued white. Every word in the English language, speaking of white, is a positive word. That's one thing. The other thing is motion pictures and all kinds of commercials show whites in a very positive light. And on the other hand, shows black in a very negative light. We call that by a name, a psychological name, called we'll come back to that. Another instance that I have was when I bought a home in West Philadelphia. Oh, it was a beautiful place. And I loved it. What I did was I found that the white people in the neighborhood didn't want any blacks moving in there because they hated us. And I got a white person to stand for me when we went to the agency that was selling the house. It was on 55th Street. So I got a white friend of mine to go for me. And the result, we bought the house. When they found out that it was black people that bought the house, they sent all kinds of threatening letters, what they were going to do to my family. I had a wife and 2 children at the time.
So let me stop it right there, because I got a lot of points to discuss on this video. Feel free to drop any comments. I know it was pretty long. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be this evening. But starting from his book, The Journey of the Songhai People by Dr. Calvin Robinson and Edward Robinson, I'm on the introduction, page 35. It says here, PAFO replies, quote, "The problem is that the entire society, inclusive of African Americans, is being and continuously been programmed to believe that the West African genesis of African Americans was steeped in bestiality, savagery, primitiveness, abysmal ignorance, and subhumanness." So on to the brainwashing. This is on page 5 of the same book. Let us first consider mind confrontations with the reality of white domination. Since black people are the victims of programmed brainwashing, it is hardly conceivable that the overwhelming majority are not subdued by it. This is evident by our behavior patterns when we still think that white is right and black is wrong. in so many phases of our journey through life. Mind you, that many black people are not ever aware of the brainwash, and many more who think they are aware, but know not how to calculate the extent of the brainwash, because most of it comes through subliminal seduction. He had mentioned that earlier in this video that the Germans that were calling them Schwarzen were calling them Negroes. Let's see if I can go back to that. Don't, give me one moment. While we bring that up. So at 6:45, if you all see, he said, let me get the volume right.
Schwarzen means niggers in German.
Oh crap. Man, that's been off the whole time. I wonder how long that's been off. Man. Okay, I have to do something here. Yeah, y'all missed out on a lot of information there. Hopefully you were able to see through the screen. But basically we went over ancient modern Britons, showing how Swarthy is connected to the African-Moors. Yeah, my mic was muted for about a couple of minutes. Probably not even a couple though. More like 10 minutes maybe. But yeah, we were going over Swarthy and its connection to the dark-skinned Swarthy people. So on page 125, to return to the Swarthy people, if the earliest races of Picts or Moors were expelled from the districts in which we now find dark people, or were wholly exterminated there, such people will become the probable descendants of the, quote, black strangers, end quote, who overran our islands in the later date, and thus the, quote, small swarthy Welshmen, end quote, the, quote, small dark Highlander, end quote, and the, quote, black Celts to the west of the Shannon, end quote, are as likely as not the living representatives of the Danes. And we got Professor Huxley going in. Yeah, they went in, they did their due diligence with this knowledge that they gathered in the late 19th century. So this is page 149. But gypsy hags are not the sole repositories of the mysteries of the Druids, although they and their acquirements represent a certain phase of the Druidical system. Just as the swarthy color of the Pictish Moors, while forming a distinctive characteristic of their gypsy descendants, asserts itself also in all the dark-skinned millions of educated and peaceable people in the modern British nation, just as the arts that distinguish the Austrian, quote, goldsmiths, end quote, and the metalworkers of Cornwall, while still possessed by the wandering tinker, are displayed in their real strength and in a vastly greater degree, in the greater ironworks and armories that have made us famous. So although the most despicable element of the Druidical system is retained by the illiterate vagrants who possess the great share of dusky Pictish blood, yet the highest and noblest attributes of Druidism are to be found in our schools and universities and churches. So he's talking about Britain, of course, and it's so much history. So yes, like I was saying, I wanted to show you guys this video that I stumbled across a couple days ago. I don't know if y'all heard me. Damn it. I'm gonna have to repeat it. Alright, so this is Facebook page. Original Black God. He had posted a video without giving references. I tried looking up this guy to see where he, this lecturer, to see who he is and where he came from. I tried transcribing what he was saying. I tried transcribing what this guy is saying. Trying to look him up online. I couldn't find him. I tried reverse image searching him. I couldn't find him, but for some reason this Facebook page has this video and we can't find the origin of the video or who this guy is lecturing, but he's hidden points. Some of his information is wrong, but he's basically mentioning the same thing, basically the same thing I've been saying. So let us watch.
Honestly, the word Moor just means black man. That's what Moor actually means. Today we attribute it to some type of sovereignty or joining some type of group, and that's all good. But basically, if you have that dark brown skin, or not even the dark brown skin, the kinky hair is what it is. The kinky hair makes you a Moor.
That when he said kinky hair makes you a Moor, that's incorrect. It's dark skin complexion that we just have seen in ancient and modern Britons. The whole book is talking about dark skin, swarthy. Dark skin, swarthy. It talks about woolly hair, but that isn't the only thing that makes one a Moor. All throughout the book, it talks about skin color, complexion, not woolly hair, dark-skinned people, page 26, right here. I'll just, okay. Dark-skinned people, all, if you look all on the screen to the left, you see Swartz here, right? So the Iberians, I went over this earlier, but my mic was muted. Page 45, the Iberians are styled, quote, swarthy, end quote, and curly hair. The word swarthy is rather elastic, for although literally Swartz, yet is taken, I fancy, to mean something not quite so dark as the color of a Negro in its usual substance. Perhaps this distinction does not exist. But at any rate, if the quote small dark Highlander end quote and the quote black Celt to the west of the Shannon end quote be assumed to be a descendants of Iberians, it may fairly be argued that with so much intermixture with fairer races during the last 2,000 years, the stock must now be lighter skinned than then, and its representatives of the first century must have been actually as black as Negroes. Okay? So I'm just giving context to contradict what Dr. Edward Robinson said first, with Swartzen meaning Negro. So let me...
Schwarzen means niggers in German.
Okay, and let us go back to this video on Facebook, which you all can see.
And that's what's going on there.
Historically speaking, kinky hair makes you a Moor, and that's what's going on there. Historically speaking, we are the educators of the planet. Most of the sciences were carried out throughout the world by the Moors. The Garamantes from North Africa walked into Europe. And
pay attention to that. He said the Garamantes, okay? Now, listen to me carefully. If you guys are new to African-Moorish history, Moorish science, etc., this is very important. Let me turn off the music. This is a very important time in the video because you have these different Moorish organizations that exist to share misinformation. Okay? So let's open up another tab. You got the moorishsciencetemple of America. You got Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, there's a lot of brainwashing going on. So, like the people that are becoming hip to Moorish knowledge or what Moor means and all this, you got all these different orders, all these groups, and they're confusing people. So, listen to me carefully. You don't have to join the group in order to be considered a Moor. Moor simply means dark-skinned and swarthy according to English. So dark-skinned means Moor. You don't have to join Moorish Science Temple of America. You don't have to join Moorish Orthodox Church of America. You don't have to join Ancient Free Moorish Rite. You don't have to join Ancient Free Moorish Rite in order to be a Moor. You don't have to change your last name to Bay El Il Day and all these different things. As you can see, he's wearing the Masonic regalia. As you can see, this is Masonic compass and square. So they're all deifying basically prophets, etc. And they're not telling all of the history. They're not saying, they'll redirect you to Atlantis and Lemuria and all this. However, they're not breaking down English etymology. They'll talk about the Moorish corsairs that were enslaving the Europeans during the transatlantic slave trade, which isn't talked about and connected to the blacks. So the blacks are in this inferiority complex, thinking that they just spawned from the soil in America from slavery and been beat for hundreds of years, not knowing that there's been a war against them since the Hittites invaded Kemet and the Hyksos invaded Kemet. Going back that far, this led to the onslaught of the Punic Wars, the Crusades, the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, yes, this is an onslaught. So, going back to this video, where he said the Garamantes, let's go to African presence in early Europe by Ivan van Sertima. Alchemy, what's up, Sam? How's it going? Thank you for joining. Let's log in and borrow. Come on now. It's going so slow. Welcome, Sam. Alchemy, Alchemoria, Tartaria, lost civilizations, the beautiful buildings all over the world, and the megalithic structures. All of these mysteries were given to us by the Moors. Bro, Sam, you know. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the comments. Well, that on alchemy, let's go to the book, Journey of the Songhai People. I believe it's in this book. Excuse me, I got this watch going off. But he mentioned that alchemy comes from the word kemet. So I'm just giving some context to you, Sam. I was taught that in college too. Alchemy comes from, alchemy is the predecessor of chemistry, and chemistry, both chemistry and alchemy, has roots in Africa. From Kemet. But okay, in the meantime, we are going to go to this book. Where the man in the video speaks about the Garamantes. Okay, so we mentioned this. We keep going back to this, right? Back to the same page. Okay, so page 12. Let me make the screen bigger so you all can see. Page 12. At the heart of the history of the ancient Moors are the Garamantes of the Sahara. The Garamantes were blacks who occupied much of North Africa. They can be considered the ancestors of the true Moors. Alright, so the Sahara came to be occupied by two distinct groups, the original Moors and the Berbers, who later became the Tawny or White Moors. The rest of North Africa, from Egypt through the Fezzan, the west of Sahara, to what is now called Morocco and Algeria, were peopled by black Africans, also called Moors by the Romans and later Europeans. Eventually these Moors would join with Arabs to become a united, powerful force. Okay, so let's go back to this video.
And you have this place called Germany.
As well as all the other places where the Moors have trained and cleaned people up. Get the movie Perfume. Is one good movie to show you how the European lived before the Moors got there. But we walked from Africa into Europe, and one of the places where, after we landed in Germany, the word Garamanti became Germany. The Germans, the Moors and the Germans migrated all the way into France and into England and so on and so forth. What's interesting is when they migrated into France and it started mixing, the Germans and the Moors and the French started mixing together, this created a golem known as Frankenstein. This is the origin of Frankenstein. Comes from the mixing of the races in France, dealing with the Franks. The Franks and of course the Steins we know is Jewish German surname. So we had a mixture of that, and that created later on, produced by the Illuminati in a book written by one of the Illuminati program sleepers named Mary Shelley. Wrote a whole story on that based on this Jewish golem who is the Frankenstein, and then the Jews keep that golem up as a protection symbol to this very day. But the Moors were very, very instrumental in educating the entire world. You have Alexander Pushkin, who a statue was erected in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago, or maybe less, who was the person who actually gave the Russians their actual language. This was a black man named Alexander Pushkin. Gave them their language. They didn't know how to fucking speak. And they gave them a way to communicate with each other. He's very famous in Russia today. He's like the god of Russia. Then you have the whole language of Latin, from which we get Spanish, comes from Tertullian. Tertullian was a black man from North Africa who came up with the language of Latin, which is the language of law. And that's why Latin is used in the courts of law. This is coming down from the Moors. Okay, so a deep history, long history. The Jesuits were known as also a part of the Inquisition. They were the main attackers of the Moors, were the Inquisitions, and they're the ones who burned the witches at the stake and so forth and so on. So there's a deep history dealing with the Jesuits. The Roman Empire, as I spoke of last night.
So as you see that he just brought up the Inquisition. We went over the Inquisition on this channel. I think within the last 3 live streams. Actually, Christians going over African-Moors were burned to the stake or burned to the faggots by the Christians. Just to redirect you guys to that video. Let's go to our playlist. Yeah, watch our playlist. Watch all of our live stream playlists. Let's get those watch hours up. Not only getting the watch hours up, but also sharing knowledge to those that need it. So check out our live stream. I don't know which one it was, but it's right here. African-Moors, quote-unquote blacks, were burned publicly by Christians before slavery, and we talk about the Spanish Inquisition. Talk about the Spanish Inquisition. I'm just showing you all, so just so you can dive into this and get my perspective of the information. But let us continue with this.
Is a difference between the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was the Moors, and we showed evidence of that. And if you watch the Pope, when he went to America, they showed the coat of arms of Saint Corbinius, who was one of the original Illuminati of the Holy Roman Empire. So the Inquisition was basically a hit squad of scientists who were tortured, and scientists and doctors, because they had to be doctors to commit those type of tortures that they did. Bone setting and all the type of tortures, the different tortures that they did. You had to be a doctor to know where and how to do these particular tortures. So they just weren't people who just were picked off the street and say, hey, we're going to make this person in the Inquisition, they're going to torture people and make them call them a witch and all like that. No, these people were professionals. Okay, so that's the basic history of without elaborating too far to the Inquisition. Is you can go online or get any books on that. And so the Moors were the Holy Roman Empire. We are the Illuminati. We are the light bringers to civilization. So yes, the Illuminati does mean the light bringers.
Yes, and he is exactly correct. He is spot on. A lot of these other Moorish Science Temple groups and things, they won't cover the type of information that he just covered by connecting the African-Moors. Well, actually, just connecting Africa with the Moors, period. Because a lot of these other groups, a lot of these people that's wearing the fez, a lot of these people that's saying Islam, brother, Islam, a lot of them, the people that's saying that and saying Allah in the comment section and saying peace in the comment section, they're not connecting it with Africans. They're only connecting it with Islam or the science of Islam. But as you can clearly see, he just dropped it, and we got books, we got African presence in early Europe, we got ancient modern Britons, We even got the Negro rulers of Scotland, the British Isles. I haven't even pulled this one up for you guys, but yeah, this is all this is some heavy stuff. Hopefully it allows me to show you guys some pages. This is the book, The Negro Rulers of Scotland and British Isles. This book needs to be available online. A lot of these books needs to be available for free online. Yes, please take notes. Take notes, because the powers that be try to erase history. As you can see, as I discussed in our live stream here, African-Moors, quote-unquote blacks, were burned publicly by Christians before slavery. So in this video I talked about how the dark-skinned people that were living in Europe and other places were being burned publicly and persecuted by the Christians and Catholics, and their books were being hung around their necks and burned with their bodies on the faggots or the stakes of wood. So those that were persecuted by the church were burned publicly on the mauros in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and tortured in the dungeons beneath the church by the secular arm. So yeah, it's a pretty disgusting history, and the people that rule understand that it's a disgusting history, though they try and promote this black on white when it's actually Homo sapiens sapien comes from the same place, or modern human comes from the same place, and that's what it's all about. Thanks to genetic evidence that's backed up by science. But science was persecuted 500 years ago. Those that taught science and enlightenment and so quote-unquote Illuminati, the illuminated ones, were burned publicly. If you look here, this thumbnail right here, you got this, these two, I basically drew these symbols, pretty creative, but showing a stake with a dark-skinned, swarthy person being burned to the stake. And you also got the skull and crossbones dressed up in the Catholic attire with the books tied around the neck. So look at the thumbnail. This is what happened. If you research Thomas de Torquemada, his grandmother was a Jew of Jewish blood, according to two different books, and he was basically persecuting the Jews and digging up their remains, burning their bodies, and taking their land, and letting the descendants of that person being burned, their remains be suffering, letting their children suffer for generations. And this is basically what the blacks are dealing with, but they don't know, and nobody's saying nothing. So a lot of celebrities aren't saying anything, and it's really sad. So everything I just said, it can be found in this book as well. Let's go to, I say human. Have notes in here as well. This is a very good book. Damn it, it's not letting me search. Okay. No, it's in here. Probably mankind. Damn it. can't think of the page. Oh, that's why it's not logged in. I have the book. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay. Oh, I'm not logged into my other account. Hang on. Yeah, so see, I try to log into everything before I came in or did this live. I was trying to just basically show the brainwashing that's been going on. As Dr. Edward Robinson said,
nobody alive today is responsible for that. So don't blame that on any white folks who are alive today. They're brainwashed too. White folks who are making the decisions in the school systems, who are making the decisions at television stations, are brainwashed. They really believe that we came from a jungle. Nobody alive.
so as you all can see, basically just provided the evidence, and there's much more to go. There's much more evidence to present, and that's why we're here doing our job. So make sure you follow our Twitter page so you can keep up with this information. Trying to get some snippets from the Negro rulers, the book The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. Having trouble logging in. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. We've been live streaming for a bit, for an hour. Well, we had a lot of technical difficulties this live stream, and I despise having technical difficulties, but they occur. Okay, subscription page, so why can I see my books? Why can I not share the books? Why are the books not go away? I'm trying to show you guys a snippet. Yeah, that noise in the background, I don't know what that could have been. A lot of things going on. Oh, that beeping sound was coming from my watch. I have like an old watch. I don't know why it's saying start free trial. I already have the book. Man, this is annoying. I'm already logged in. Why do I have to log in? I don't know what's going on. Man, this is annoying. It's not allowing me to log in. Dang it. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to skip on the book for this live, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys got something from this live stream and can apply this to your life, because we're doing something that's never been done before in human history by applying African-Moorish knowledge to our business and our future endeavors. And I hope you all have been enjoying our Moorish portals that we've been creating. And we got so much more to offer you guys. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So share this to your share our slow-mo portals to your associates. Hit that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way. I'm starting to get hungry and tired. Been up for over 24 hours doing a lot of things. Been up and yeah, we just been putting in work, man. It hasn't been easy, and you got all these orders trying to like stop us. You got ancient free Moorish right sharing misinformation. Moorish Orthodox Church of America sharing misinformation. Moorishsciencetemple of America infiltrated, sharing misinformation. Keep in mind, Noble Drew Ali did not create the term Moor. The term has been around for over 2,000 years. To allow artists that talk about storms are raging times are changing. I listen to a lot of artists that talk about misinformation and lies and tapping back into the source. Oh yeah, Sam. That's a lot. That's available a lot in hip hop. Well, even beyond hip hop, really. All over, like punk rock, Raging Against the Machine. Well, that's one group. A lot of like people just want freedom, and freedom has to be fought for, unfortunately. Yeah, brainwashing. So protect your minds, and you just understand the brainwashing is real. I know it sounds like science fiction. I know it sounds like a fairy tale, but it's happening. On the grand scale too, with the internet. Yeah. So it's not no feel good talk to get people's spirits up. That wasn't its intention, but I'm trying to see if he mentions fairy in this book. Yeah, no, it's fair. Yeah, I don't think it's this book. I think it's volume 2 and volume 2, possibly. You can look it up real quick. I don't even know why I'm typing in fairy, really. Just to basically show you guys like how English can be manipulated. Where's volume 2? I need volume 2. I got volume 2. I don't know. It's in my bookmarks somewhere. Oh, it's going so slow. Yeah, I had music playing. I forget. Alright. I think that's about it for this live stream. I'm getting tired. I thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully we were able to show some of the brainwashing that's been going on to the black people, specifically because those are the people that's been targeted the most and will continue to be targeted until they realize their African-Moorish history and their contributions to society. So I thank y'all for tuning in.